What's up, Broncos country? Welcome back to the Broncos Podcast Network and YouTube for the latest episode of Broncos Now. As always, I'm your host, Sydney Jones. And coming up on today's episode, Hall of Fame safety Steve Atwater joins the show. We'll take a look back at Sunday's win over the Browns and look ahead to the Broncos' 3-game road stretch. All that and more coming up. Joining me on today's episode of Broncos Now is Hall of Fame safety Steve Atwater. Steve, thanks for joining me on the show today.
Thank you for having me on again, Sid.
Absolutely. Pleasure is mine. 5 straight wins for this Broncos team. A winning record now, Steve. It's amazing.
They've been leaving it out there on the field, and that's been the most rewarding thing from my point of view. Just, seeing them leave it on the field and seeing them prosper from it and right. See the joy on their faces after the game, man. That warms my heart to see that.
Mine too. They deserve it. Steve, a few weeks ago on this podcast, you mentioned that regardless of where the record was at that point, a couple weeks down the road, we would take a look back and say, hey, this team, as long as they keep getting better week by week, things are going to change for them. And look where we're at right now. I mean, you called it.
Yeah, well, that's just how the NFL is, and certain teams respond to adversity and other teams don't. But this team, they're extremely well coached, they're disciplined, and they believe. They believe in one another. They believe in their coaches. And they have a great relationship all over there in that entire building over there. And, I just had a feeling that something special could happen if they stuck to it, and that's exactly what's happened. And, I know they got to be on cloud 9 right now.
Yeah, you saw the potential, Steve. Looking back at Sunday's 29-12 win over the Browns. By the way, that's a scoregami. I don't know if you've heard of that. But
I heard that. I just heard that the other day. Like, that's score. I don't believe that.
No, it's the first time that's ever happened in NFL history. That's what they're saying. I would think that's pretty cool, though.
We got to check it. We got to check. I haven't checked it yet. We got to check it.
Well, Steve, anyways, looking at the game, just a really physical game. Thinking about the run game to start, 169 yards on the ground. That was a season high for the Broncos this year. And, it was great to see Javonte Williams, Samaje Perine had his first touchdown of the season as a Bronco. They were getting after it.
Yeah, just a great 1-2-3 punch with Javonte Williams, Samaje Perine, and Jaleel McLaughlin. And then, it starts with that offensive line.
Yeah.
Because it starts right there in the trenches. And I don't think you can have any good offense without an amazing offensive line. And
I agree.
In Denver, we have that now.
Yeah.
These guys are playing high-level football, and they're playing to the whistle. That's the only thing that I thought they were missing earlier in the year. They were physical. They were playing hard, but some plays they wouldn't finish. When I say play to the whistle, just, keep blocking somebody until the whistle blows, because I know as a defender, I hated that, because those are the guys, they're always looking for somebody to block. And, we like the guys who stop blocking. They block their guy and think the play is over, and then the play goes another 4 or 5 seconds, and they're sitting around watching. Well, these guys, they aren't doing that.
Yeah.
They're blocking somebody, and they're real pesty to defenders.
They are. Even Javonte Williams, he spoke to the media on Monday, Steve, and he said that, he contributes a lot of this win streak to the offensive line and how they've played. And you can tell the chemistry they have is really special right now.
Yeah, and like offensive linemen, they love to block for a running back that runs hard. Running backs that run hard. And our running backs, they run hard. And Jaleel McLaughlin gives them that third element of the speed and the quickness. But I think they love all 3 of our running backs because they're so physical. Definitely. And if they give them a little bit of a crease, they're going to get through it quickly, and they're going to run downhill and make something happen. So it's fun. It's fun on both sides. I know the running back loves it because it's a hole there.
Right.
But the offensive linemen love to see those guys get through there.
Well, Steve, looking over the win streak, moving on to the defense now, 16 takeaways over the past 5 games.
Wow, it just keeps on happening week after week. Turnover, interception, cause fumble, guys knocking the ball out of the quarterback's hand like P.J. Locke did.
Right.
It's just guys are practicing it. They're practicing it, and they're intentional about it in the game, and you can tell. And I know some teams that have done that, and they still haven't been able to do it in the game. But these guys, the carryover to the games is outstanding.
Yeah.
Their ability to actually take what they do in practice and make it happen in the game is next level. So they got to keep doing it. Got to keep doing it. And even if it stopped right now, you said it was awesome.
It was.
But I don't think it's going to stop.
No, I don't
think
either.
it's going to stop.
Yeah, I know head coach Sean Payton, he contributed a lot of the team's success to, being able to take the ball away, but also on offense, protecting the ball too. That's been so key in this win streak, I think.
No, I agree 100%. And, I think we had 8 penalties, but I think our penalty level has actually come down quite a bit as well. And they haven't been those real onerous penalties where, they're 15, 20 yards, taking away big plays. They're just penalties that kind of go along with the game. Right. So, yeah, it's been really nice what the offense has been doing. And, again, you just got to keep it going.
Yeah. Well, Steve, going back to the defense here, I know the Browns coming into this game, they were averaging 143 rushing yards. It was third in the league. But I thought our run defense did a really good job, held them to 107 yards. Overall, what did you think about that unit?
Well, I thought they were physical. I thought the defensive line stepped up and did a great job. They were good fitting. Guys knew where their teammates were, so you'd have 2 or 3 guys outside and one guy, just a lane in there for any of the guys to go through. So, but the physicality is the thing for me that jumps out on the film. They were able to stop a really effective run game. And they had a couple of good runs, but you got to look at the total picture. And they really did a good job of containing a really good offense.
Yeah, and one guy you mentioned earlier, Steve, PJ Locke, I want to mention him for a second because, he's been out the past couple of games. He's been dealing with that ankle injury, but he had a really great day versus the Browns. 7 tackles. He had that strip sack, too, in the fourth quarter. It's been great to have him back out there.
Yeah, it's really been great to see what he can do, and it was a shame that he got injured because he had an opportunity to play several weeks ago. So we're finally getting a chance to see what PJ Locke can do. Yeah. And I got to say, every time PJ Locke has played, he's made an impact. And that's a great thing for him. He's been so patient, doesn't complain. But I know he wants to be out there on the field contributing, especially when you see the plays that he makes and the impact that he makes. Like, why isn't he on the field, right? But we have, really great players at that position. So, we kind of understand that. So I think we're going to see a lot of him in the future, though.
Yeah. Steve, going off of that, we got to do our player focus that we do every single week. So who's one guy that you want to highlight from this past game?
Oh, man, it's got to be my man, Garett Bolles, number 72. He had his hands full. With Myles Garrett coming into this game. I know everybody was talking, and hopefully, I don't know if he listened to social media or watched social media or not, but everybody was thinking Myles Garrett is going to eat. Well, he went home with an empty stomach because Garett Bolles held him down.
Yeah.
And we highlighted a play on our film breakdown where he blocked Myles Garrett for literally 8 seconds. And he just didn't quit. He didn't quit. And that's the type of play you need to get to that next level. And, it's a beautiful thing. And I know Garett Bolles, he's just got to be on cloud 9 right now.
Yeah.
And it's like, if I did this to one of the best defenders in the game right now, what's the rest of these guys going to do? They got nothing coming.
Right.
So, GB, keep it going, baby.
I love it. And it was, Mike McGlinchey, he talked after the game, and he said something that kind of stuck with me. He said Garrett is going to remember this game for the rest of his life.
He should. It was a big game, and he showed up big time.
He did.
And that's what the playmakers do, right? I mean, and that's one of the things we had talked about earlier, too, is like playmakers in the big games, you got to show up and make plays. And they did that. And, these are the results of when that happens. Yeah.
Looking ahead, Steve, critical road stretch here, 3 straight road games. Have you ever played in a stretch that long? I know.
I'm sure we did.
Yeah.
I'm sure we did, but I
think there's been 9 in Broncos history, I believe. 9 3-road games.
That doesn't seem like it's that unpopular, right? It seems like that happens pretty frequently, but it doesn't. Only 9?
No, I think so.
Wow.
I think after the merger, only 9. Well, what kind of challenges do you think kind of come with a 3-game road stretch?
You know what? Just, blocking everything out. And if teams aren't good at blocking out the crowd noise,
right,
it can become an issue. But these guys have shown that they can go on the road and win. And they just got to keep doing what they're doing. And, I heard some of the players talking about the high level of practice that they practice at now. And they just got to keep it up.
Yeah.
I remember when we won our 2 Super Bowls, we practiced at a high level. So when we got to the games, it was like, this is a piece of cake. We hopefully they had that same confidence because, I walk by sometimes when they're practicing, man, these guys are full tilt. And I love it. I love to see that because I know that's going to make the game that much easier for them. I won't say easy, but it'll make it to where the game slows down.
Definitely.
Because they got the competition in practice.
Yeah, absolutely. We got some meaningful games coming up here. Meaningful games in December, Steve. You love to see it. Yes. I know the team's kind of taking it game by game, though. Week by week. That's the mentality they're at.
Oh, yeah.
Which is good.
100%. And I got to say the coaching has been exceptional, and the players buying in. It's all so special, because this is just the start of something much bigger, and
you can feel it.
Yeah, you can feel it, and they're deserving of it because they've put in the work.
Yeah, I agree. Well, Steve, appreciate you coming on the show today. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you, Sid. Appreciate you for having me.
That's going to do it for today's episode of Broncos Now. Broncos Country, thanks so much for tuning in. I'll meet you right back here on the Broncos Podcast Network and YouTube tomorrow for another episode. I'll see you all then.